Good morning and welcome to Failure to Stop, the number one podcast for police-related breakdowns from the perspective of a former cop. Why is that important? Well, because I'm not trying to climb any ladder to the top, so I can objectively go through these cases and I don't have to worry about admin maybe being upset with my take on the case or my opinion, which is actually really important for today because you guys know I have been preaching for a long time about a warrior mindset and why I think it's important. And I have a special guest today on the show, and we're going to talk a little bit about warrior mindset. But something happened to me this week that made me think in my brain, I should get Tyler Gray on the show. And that is one of you guys in the Wolf Pack reached out to me and said, hey, I'm taking your advice, which is frightening to me. I really need to be more careful of what I say on here because you guys actually listen. And that gives me a little bit of anxiety. But he reached out and he said, I'm trying to join an agency, and so I'm doing the things that you said to do first, which is, one, do a ride-along at said agency, and do it on the hardest time of day or night with a line officer so that you can get a real feel of what it's actually like to be a cop in that city in its most busy time. And so he says he was going to do that. He lined it all up. And I said, two, ask that officer, does that agency preach a warrior mindset, or did they buy into the protector mindset, which I believe? I don't have a lot of absolutes. I don't. I actually, I don't have low self-esteem, but I have this self-esteem that I know I'm not an expert in anything. And so I don't speak in absolutes as if I knew. It's like with tactics, right? Like I'm a tactics sommelier. I just dabble in all of them. And just like in my wine studies, I always say that there's a time and a place for every wine. It's up to you to find that time or place for that wine. Same with tactics. I'm not a guru. I'm not locked down to a certain way of doing things. But when it comes to warrior mindsets, I'm an absolutist. And I think I'm right on that one. And so it's hard to argue with me. And so he asked this officer on his ride along, do you believe in a warrior mindset or a protector mindset? And I truly believe in my heart that the protector mindset it's fugazi. It's not real. Somebody made that up. There is no doctrine. Whereas a warrior mindset, there is a doctrine. And I guess the said tactical Jesus in that would be Lieutenant Colonel Grossman, right? And then he has several disciples. But it's learned, like there is a set doctrine, there's a set mindset, and it's been tried and true. Protector mindset was some nerd that wanted to, in my opinion, that wanted to latch on to the pussification of policing and the defunding of policing and to get rid of something and to put their name on it. But there's still no protector doctrine. Like there's no book that you can cite to me, or there's no real life scenarios that you can you can go over this protector mindset that I just believe doesn't exist. And so it's important that you know, because if you don't have a warrior mindset, or the agency that you are joining doesn't have a warrior mindset, and they are in a big city and they fight crime, it's not just like one of these Richie uppity pickleball, plantation style neighborhoods that you're policing in. You want to be around people who have a warrior mindset because it keeps the civilian safe, but it keeps you safe as well. And I've got a little breakdown today to show you guys, but I have somebody who's actually an expert in a warrior mindset, and maybe his opinion differs from mine. I don't know. I haven't really talked to him about it, but I thought after talking to this young man who wants to get into this profession, and he called me back and he says, the guy said that he has a protector mindset. And he asked all the questions that I say, well, when somebody says they have a protector mindset, then ask them these key things. And you'll know whether you're joining a police department that is that their priority is to appease the social justice warriors than it is to just do the right thing and actually serve and protect the public. It doesn't matter what the perception is and how they do that. And it's really important because you have to then make that decision in your mind. Do you want to be a part of that agency or not? And so he came back and he asked all the questions and he said, it's crazy. He didn't have an answer. And when they don't have an answer, it means they're just regurgitating what they hear from their superiors, and they're yes men, and they just go along with it. Does that make sense? We're going to talk a lot about it today. Before we do, this is a live chat. We got a lot of people in the chatty chats. Nijkin from across the pond in the Netherlands. Listen, I'll never know what your what the accent is in the Netherlands. So Mur530, good to see you. Laszlo Lopez, Abby Ellsworth from On Being a Police Officer out from the great state of Washington. Thank you so much. Tyler S says, good morning, everybody. Warriors, let's go. Good job. Yep. Appreciate you. Bosco Autry And as it begins to fill up, I'll address you guys later on in the show. But with me, I have a very special guest who has a book coming out very soon. It's this Tuesday. The book is called Forged in Chaos, a warrior's origin story. Also, he is a fake Navy SEAL on the TV series Navy SEAL Teams, and he has a podcast called Two Fake SEALs with AJ Buckley, who was also in SEAL Team and then also in CSI and tons of other movies. And also Tyler Gray, in the past few weeks, has gotten engaged to the love of his life. And you can see by the smile on his and her face that they are truly happy. And so there's a lot of things to uncover today. Without further ado, let me bring on former Delta Force operator, fake SEAL, author, director, executive producer, writer, I don't know, Tyler Gray, jack of all trades, master of all of them. Tyler, welcome to the Failure to Stop podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, man. This damn lawnmower will be done here in a second. So sorry.
I can't even hear it. Your equipment is so good that we can't even hear the lawnmower going out. Sweet. By the way, that is a bougie flex, by the way. I like that. Like, ooh, humble brag. I have somebody mowing my yard.
That's not mine. I'm at an Airbnb. So.
Oh, wow. Gotcha. So you're engaged, dude. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. Here, let me adjust this to mimic yours.
I don't have a producer, so.
No, thanks, man. Yeah, I'm happy to have that. You know, I don't think women understand that it's stressful. You know, like I was like, oh my God, that was so stressful. I was nervous. And she's like, what do you mean? Like, I was going to say yes. I'm like, well, yeah, I was pretty sure, but I wasn't 100, like there's always, you get down on a knee and you're asking a question. And like, I don't think women realize how stressful it actually is, and you want it to be this amazing moment. So I'm happy it's over with. And she said yes.
Dude, I'm happy for you. When I got engaged, when I was a kid, and you talk a lot about this in your book, like childhood traumas and stuff. It's funny because when I was a child, I had this like anxiety problem but the word anxiety didn't exist back then in the 90s. Like that wasn't a thing.
It was called being a pussy.
Yeah. Being a pussy. Well, and yeah, that's exactly like how my dad kind of cured it too, which is strange. But I used to have these yawning fits where I couldn't stop yawning. Mm-hmm. And it was before any track meets, before I ran the 400. If I played football, if I was on right before kickoff, I would keep yawning and I wouldn't be able to get a breath. And so I would like kind of panic and then I would have this yawn and it was like super terrible. And so one day, and I've told this story before on the show, and one day I was running, it was like regionals for track. I don't think I made it much further than that. But anyway, it was the 400 meter and I was having one of these yawning attacks.
It's because you were competing with the boys like an idiot. You could have just fucking flipped the script and then you would have been, division regional champion.
Right. So
there you go.
I walk over to my dad and I'm like, dude, I don't know if I can run. I'm having a yawning fit. And he's like, you're having a what? And I was like, I have these fits, Dad, when I get like crazy nervous. I have them, but normally I can just like get through them, but like I can't. And, I'm having this thing. And he was like, so what are you going to do? Just not run? And I was like, I don't think I'm going to run. And he's like, or you could just run. And if you don't get any air, you'll just pass out and you'll start breathing again. And I was like,
that's logical.
Yeah, but I would like get last place. And he's like, who cares? Like, that's way better than just like not doing it. And I was like, oh, and you know what? I never had another one of those attacks ever again until I went to get engaged to my wife.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
She's like, are you tired? You're like, no, just nervous. It's a good thing, really. But it's better to run than not. Last place. What are you talking? Are you ready?
It's exactly how it went down, actually. It was great. Hey, it's good to have you on. Your book comes out on Tuesday. I know you must be tired because everything that goes into a book, especially. Yeah, there it is. There it is. You got to have it. How excited are you about this book? You've done so much already. Like, is this even on your radar of like most badass things you've ever done?
Well, I mean, it's funny you say that. I mean, you obviously know what the book is about, and it's interesting because you and I both know that it doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter what other people think about what you've done. It matters what you think about what you've done. And, I look at any and everything I've done, and it really, it doesn't seem like anything to me. It just doesn't. Like the book, I am very, very happy that the book is coming out because I've been working on it for, daily for several years now. I've been working on it in the shadows for like 15 years, ever since I got out, really. So I'm super excited for it to come out because I truly, truly believe that it can help a lot of people. And so for that, I'm very excited for it to get out there and hopefully start, illuminating. I hope it can be a light in the dark for people that are currently in the dark, like I was, myself for so many years.
You just did the audiobook. I'm just finishing up mine. Dude, tell me that wasn't like one of the hardest things you've ever done.
I hated it. I hated every second of it. It was
so hard.
One of the weirder things I think I've ever done. And I'm sure you know what I'm saying. It's like, for me, you're reading the story. It's obviously your story, but it's written in a way that has some level of story to it. You know what I mean? It's the way it's structured. It's still written like a story. It's not like I would tell it to somebody that way. So there's this slight level of detachment when you're reading it where it's your story. You remember everything that happened in there, but it kind of feels a little bit like you're reading somebody else's story. Does that make sense? That's how I felt.
And I have like super bad ADHD, but like I think it's my superpower, so I've never like medicated myself for it or anything.
Oh, dude,
but like
we can the first diagnosis that I'm going after is PTSD. The second diagnosis I'm going after is ADHD. I'm going to destroy the fuck out of ADHD, but that's a longer conversation.
Dude, please give me a call because I have an amazing story about me and my journeys with ADHD and how I've combated people trying to force drugs down my throat for it. But I think it makes you a great cop for one. Like if you have ADHD and you have a hard time focusing, being a cop is the job for you. Because I could remember like being in training and my training officer who I looked up to, at the time I thought he was like God amongst gods, he's a real life cop, but we would drive around and after being with him for 5 or 6 weeks, he was like, dude, is there anything you don't fucking see or remember? Because I could drive by a gas station. I could be like, hey, that gas station usually closes at 2. Why is it open at 2:35? Let's pull in there and just say hi to the clerk really quick and just see what's up. Why are they open so early or open so late? And then we would go in there and he'd be like, oh man, thank you guys so much for coming in. Actually, I was kind of late doing this and that. And, but it means a lot to me that you guys stopped by. And it was just like little things like that my training officer would be like, how do you notice like everything? And I was like, dude, it's because when I drive around, I can drive, play on the computer, look at tags, look at my surrounding areas, notice gang members. And it's my ADHD superpower.
I can only read if I'm listening to music.
Dude, thank you. I'm the same way. Bro, I can only write. I would listen to like deathcore, hardcore, heavy metal while I'm writing, and my wife would think I was a freak. Yeah. She was like, what are you doing? I'm like,
yep. You read the concept of LTSD. ADHD is a side effect of chaotic baseline. That's where it comes from. And it's a much longer conversation, but there's just so much stuff that we're being told that just is demonstratively not true. And by the way, you mentioned Grossman.
Yeah,
he's on my list.
You're gonna tear him down?
I'm coming after Grossman.
For what?
So what are the 2 books that Grossman wrote?
On Killing was one. And was it Warrior Mindset? Was that the name of the other one? Because I know I took the Warrior Mindset course that he did.
On Combat.
Okay.
And On Killing.
Yeah. You didn't like those?
I read them before I was in the military. I read them again when I was in the military. And then I read them again about 5 years after I got out. And quite frankly, a bunch of the stuff I read, I was like, this is just not true. It's just not true based on my experience. When I didn't have any experience, I was like, oh my God, this book's amazing. Then once I had experience, I was like, wait a minute, where's this coming from? So then I did some research and learned some interesting things about old Grossman.
Really? So his son is like a combat controller, correct?
Yeah.
I
think Grossman himself never was in combat.
Okay.
And I don't think ever killed anyone.
No, I don't think so either. But I mean, does he say he did?
I'm not saying he did. What I'm saying is those 2 books are written out of theory, not out of experience.
Sure. No, I go on that. Now, so since we're on the topic, are you familiar with his Warrior Mindset training at all? No. Kind of like a course. A lot of police departments incorporated it.
I mean, not separately than the book. I mean, it's been a while since I read it, but
Yeah.
like the sheepdog analogy, I don't agree with it. I think it's fundamentally flawed.
Can you go over which parts that are like in your opinion that the sheepdog concept is flawed?
I don't agree.
I mean, it's important for our audience just because.
Yeah. No, I don't agree. I don't agree with the sheepdog analogy because it doesn't fit the analogy. The analogy, the way we're applying it, doesn't fit to the animal world. So if you're going to use an analogy, in my opinion, the analogy should, like, where the analogy is coming from should be accurate, but it's not. Here's what I mean by that. Sheepdogs don't kill wolves. They don't kill wolves. Wolves will fucking destroy sheepdogs. Whether it's one fucking wolf against one sheepdog or fucking, several sheepdogs against the wolf, the reality is the wolf will kill a sheepdog. Sheepdogs aren't designed to fight the wolves. And I'm not saying, incidents don't happen where they do. But what I'm saying is sheepdogs are not designed to fight and kill the wolves. Sheepdogs are designed to fucking bark and alert the farm owner that comes out with the fucking shotgun. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's right. That's the way it actually works. They're not there to like fight the wolves. So where I'm going with this is when we use that analogy, what I always say is, bro, I'm not a sheepdog. I'm a fucking wolf. Right. And the warrior mentality, if you just use what you said at the beginning of this, in my opinion, the protector mindset is based on the sheepdog. And therefore, that's why you have a problem with it, because it's fundamentally flawed. There is no protector mindset because the fucking protectors don't protect, they alert. Yeah. No, that makes sense. That hits me hard because the sheepdog analogy, of course, I use the sheepdog analogy much different. Especially on here, I have a much different version of the sheepdog story, but I've never called myself a sheepdog ever. Because I think it's gay. But anyway, but the warrior mindset versus the protector mindset, you're 100% correct. Like, you have to have that wolf mindset, but the protector mindset is extremely, in my opinion, listen, you're probably more of an expert than I am, but I really believe that the protector mindset is only designed to hurt the community and to hurt you as the officer, because like, and according to your analogy, yes, you're correct. A protector, like, I don't want somebody that's going to bark. And like, who are you barking to? You're a cop. Like, stop. You're not barking. Like, I need you to like stop me from. I need you to stop me from dying. So first of all, to your point, no, dude, you've forgotten more about the protector mindset than I'll ever know, because I never did the job of LE. But for me, I always say, no, dude, I'm a fucking wolf. But the way I say it is, I'm a good wolf. Right. I'm a good wolf. There's good and bad wolves. And what we need to stop doing is having this protector mindset of being a sheepdog and start accepting the fact that, no, bro, we're fucking wolves. Yeah. And we need to stop trying to be these protector dogs and realize, dude, we're a little fucked up. We're a little fucking rough around the edges. We're sometimes too aggressive. We're all these things, and that's okay, because that's what being a fucking man is. And the problem, the sheepdog analogy, is a side effect of the protector analogy, which is a side effect of a society that's trying to fucking reduce the power of wolves. Well, that hit hard. It probably hits hard to all of our chats too, because our chats are called the Wolf Pack. Well, so, fucking shit, man. Right? Dude, we're the Wolf Pack. So, like, go. The FTS, the Failure Stop Wolf Pack, that's what we call them. So, that does make us feel good. Bosco Autry says, shit, I'm just a junkyard dog then. Good for you, Bosco. So Abby Ellsworth on being a police officer. By the way, Abby, she's an author and she was a writer. And Abby, I might get this wrong. And I apologize, but please, if I get it wrong, you can correct me in the chats. And I do love you. So if I fuck this up, it's not personal. But Abby was if I recall my podcast that I did with her a long time ago, Abby is a writer in Washington State, and she was covering the BLM riots and the defund the police. And then she, I believe, was like, I'm going to try to like learn more about the cop side thing, because everything was like anti-cop in Washington State. And so she started to like embed herself with police and write about the police's side of things. And then she created a podcast called On Being a Police Officer, which is police officers telling their story. She's a phenomenal writer and podcaster. So I really appreciate her. But she says,
what is the sheepdog analogy? Is this not similar to warrior versus protector? Yeah. So essentially, Abby, at some point in life, they called cops sheepdogs. No,
Well, I believe it came from Grossman, if I'm not mistaken.
Is he the one that came up with the sheepdog? Yeah, I'm sure it is. 100%.
I'm gonna look it up, but I'm 99.
No, I'm 100% sure you're right on that. Like, yeah. I mean, because that's where this whole mindset training comes from. Now, I will have to say this: like, even if you disagree with this theory, I really do believe in the warrior mindset training. And when the police department stopped preaching the warrior mindset training, I think it was extremely. And the agencies that have adopted the protector mindset, and I've shown it case after case after case after case on this show, the difference between protector and warrior mindset, and when a warrior is locked in, how he acts in the public versus a protector, and how a protector is on the defense. I don't know if you've ever practiced judo. I have not, but I do jujitsu, and I practice with a judo coach for jujitsu purposes. And if you are not in judo, if you're not the aggressor, then you're the one that's going to get flipped. You have to constantly be aggressing on the opponent and staying ahead of him and making him react to you. Once you start reacting to him, like, it's a slippery slope, and next thing you know, you're flying gracefully through the air and you're landing on your ass. And the warrior, that's the warrior. It's like you're the one that's fighting for those grips first. You're not reacting to the grips that are on top of you. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
is that a terrible analogy?
It's actually probably my favorite martial art. I love judo, and it's the joke I make about Aikido. Like, every if you're fighting someone, the joke is telling a Aikido practitioner to start the fight.
Well, he can't.
That's the joke I always make, because it's all reactive, right? But the warrior, and I just looked it up. The sheepdog analogy was started by Grossman. And again, it's served its purpose. It's given a framework for people to adopt. But I think at this point, I think we need to reevaluate it, because I really think that it is a complete. I just think overall we're basically reducing our power that we have combined. And then the other thing is the lone wolf mentality. Wolves don't operate alone. They operate in packs. You know what I mean? And this whole lone wolf kind of idea is just not how it actually works, right? And so for me, I always say, man, I'm a wolf. I'm a good wolf, but I'm a wolf. And accepting that you not only are a wolf, but that you need to be a wolf in those jobs is, I think, absolutely critical, because you can't do them passively or in constant defense.
Yeah, and I mean, once you are a warrior, and a lot of people will take that out of context, right? But like, a warrior is not somebody who is wanting the fight. And when you're comfortable with violence, when you're comfortable with having your hands on somebody, it's why I say in jujitsu, if you're training jujitsu and you're training competitive jujitsu, like, you're not a warrior. Like, when you're training jujitsu, you should always start on your feet, and you should always be comfortable with having somebody's hands on you and gripping you, and that fear and that anxiety of getting tossed on your ass. Like, that's a part of being a warrior. But once you're comfortable with that, you really are able to dial it back in. You're much more likely to diffuse a situation than you are to start a situation, because you're not reacting on adrenaline. You're not allowing your adrenaline to take over your body. You're able to calm your senses and work through the chaos, as you mentioned several times in your book. It's working. You're comfortable in that situation because that's your baseline right there is the chaos. But if you don't know, if you don't have the training, if you don't have the tools, which a warrior must have tools and must have training. You can't be a warrior without training. Your mindset's not going to win a boxing match. I promise. You have to train, right? Your warrior mindset's not going to allow you to reload on the run perfectly. You have to train. But once you train as a warrior, that chaos becomes very simple. It becomes very, very easy to navigate versus the people who are untrained.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the big problems too and this is just my opinion, I think part of the protector, and again, you know way more about this than me, but I think part of the protector mindset comes from a generation who's never been punched in the face. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like they've never been punched in the face, so they've never been in a fight when they were younger. So there's this fear of I need to be defensive. I need to stay out of it. And they don't understand that the first thing that happens when you're, at least for me, when you're a kid and you get punched in the face, you go, okay, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like now it's on. And then and I think like, I'll tell you this, dude, I love this. I was told this. My buddy runs what's called RASP, the Ranger Assessment and Selection Program. For new Rangers. You know what it is, right? So when I say for new Rangers, this is, generally 18-year-olds off the street. It could be any age up to 35 or whatever, but there's a lot of kids 18, off the street, right? And he runs the Ranger Assessment and Selection Program. And he was telling me about this new thing that they do. They didn't do it when I was in. And what they do is there's a circle, I forget, let's say it's 10 yards, I don't remember. And it's 10 yards, all lined with people. And in the middle is two people, a cadre and a student. And the student has, BDUs, whatever. He has no gloves. And I think he has a head thing or whatever. The instructor has big, 18-ounce gloves, I forget. And they have to start touching. On go, the student has to try and get the instructor in a rear naked choke. The instructor has these boxing gloves and he can basically beat the shit out of him. And he said, dude, when they say go, he's like, most students get knocked down hard, 1 to 3 times. And eventually they'll fight over, 1-2 minutes, whatever it is. And eventually they'll kind of probably allow the guy to get his, get his back, get a rear naked choke, right? And he said, what's amazing about this iteration, whatever you want to call it, is that he goes, you can see a lot of these kids have never been hit in the face because of the way society is now growing up. And he goes, you can see the warrior come to life the first time they get hit. And he's like, it's my favorite thing we do. He goes, you can just see it rise up within them. And he's like, it's amazing. And he goes, and by the way, there's some kids that get knocked once, twice, and they don't get back up.
Yeah.
And they're out.
Yeah.
They're done because the job requires you to fucking fight through that and finish the mission. And so I think that is what we need more of in this society. I call it, we need to awaken the wolf inside of people that have this innate warrior mentality, rather than what we're currently doing, which is suppressing it. And we've been suppressing it as a society for years and probably decades now at this point.
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that when I went through the police academy, and by the way, I did go through RASP at one point.
Oh, did you? I didn't know that.
Well, is it the same thing as RIP, Ranger Indoctrination Program?
So I went through RIP. You went through RIP. Now RIP is RASP. It's
right.
It's different.
But we did not do that exercise at all.
Bro, so if you were in RIP like I was, all RIP was they smoked the absolute shit out of you.
That was it.
For however long it was. And if you didn't quit, you made it, right?
Yeah. And then you got to go to Ranger school. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, exactly. Now they actually teach them. Oh my God, crazy, right? And now there's some sort of assessment, and it's not just smoking the shit out of them. Because at that time, dude, you could be dumb as fuck and make it through if you were just too stupid to quit.
Right. Right. Yeah. So I went to RIP, but I did not go to Ranger school. So I graduated RIP, and then I was able to go back to language school, which didn't quite work out anyway. I went back to language school, and then I didn't have an updated physical, so I got sent back. Anyway, I never got to go to Ranger school, but I went through small unit tactics during the Q course, and I got to do it twice, which was fantastic.
Oh, that sounds fun. Good phase to repeat.
All the way through. You know why I failed?
What?
Leadership. Every time I was put in a leadership position, I passed it on to somebody else. So they called me a pack mule, and they were like, you peered so high because you carry heavy shit, but we're not looking for pack mules. We're looking for leaders. And every time we try to give you a leadership position, you literally pass it on. And he's like, we've never seen anything like it. Like, we've never seen somebody that doesn't have the self-awareness to be like, they're physically trying to force me to be a leader. And you were like physically like, nope, not going to do it. And he's like, well, guess what? Now you get to come back on Monday. And I was like,
you should have just been like, bro, I'm really good at delegating.
I should have. I was too young and too stupid. So then I had to go back through SUT as the class leader, which is typically a captain. And then they made me a class leader the whole time, and I appeared almost last. And so when it got to the end, they were like, when you weren't a leader, you appeared third highest in the class. When you were the leader, you appeared third to last. And they're like, if we send you on to SEER, could you bring it down in the middle somewhere? And I was like, oh, please, yes, yes.
You know the joke, or not the joke, but the phrase that I always liked from the military about leadership is, the leader is the designated asshole.
Yeah, that's true.
I just
it
love
sucks.
That, yeah,
it sucks. And I'm not that guy. Like, I'm just not.
Yeah.
And I'm also not. I'm a terrible delegator. Like, and it's not that I don't trust anybody to delegate them. I feel like I'm pawning shit off on somebody else. So it's like, if there's something I can do myself, I'm like, fuck it, I'll just do it myself. And one thing I'm really good at doing is carrying heavy shit for a very long way. I can get lost in my own brain. I I feel comfortable there. I don't want to be figuring out which direction we're going to go. And I used to love that in the military, is like, everybody else would be like, oh, this is the fucking stupidest route. We're going to get stuck in this draw and this swap. And like, dude, none of that mattered to me ever. Like, none of those things even, like, I was just like, whatever, dude, I don't care. Like, my job here is to carry heavy shit. And like, if I got to bust 5 draws, I bust 5 draws. If I bust 2, well, I bust 2. If we go till 2 in the morning, we go to 2 in the morning. If we're done by 5, great. Like, I don't care. And like, that was very simple. But then when I was forced to be the leader, and like, now I'm having to pick which draws to bust, and everybody was just so mad at me. And then I would change the plan because I didn't want Tyler Gray to be mad at me, or I didn't want this guy to be mad at me, or, and then people, it was, and I was wildly immature, way too immature to do it. And, but yeah, it was fun. I did pass the second time, thankfully. But I still to this day, like, I learned nothing from it. Still to this day, I do not take a leadership role for any reason. Like, even when I ran my bar and I owned my bar, I hired a bar manager, and he was like, dude, you're the craziest. Like, because I would clean all the bathrooms every night, and I waited all the tables, and I bust all the tables. And a lot of times people would have no idea. They would come in 3 or 4 times and have no idea that I owned the whole place. And he was like, why do you do that? Like, why didn't you just tell that lady you own this fucking bar? Why did you just kowtow to her? I was like, dude, because like, you're the boss. Like, you're the man. Like, and you're good at this. Like, I'm good at taking trash out and mopping floors, and I'm meticulous about it, and I'm good at it. And like, let me just be good at what I'm good at instead of faking it.
I think personally that you don't know what you could be good at because you haven't tried.
I'm comfortable with doing the shit that nobody else wants to do. Yes. And I feel like that's where I'm most liked. And if nobody else wants to do it, and there is somebody that's good at doing it and doesn't mind doing it, then why shouldn't I just take that role?
Because you're capable of more. And you talked to, I'm the reason I'm bringing this up is, you read the book. My book is fundamentally about self-worth. And I believe that lack of self-worth is the core disease in not just the veteran, but the first responder community. And all I'm hearing is self-worth, because everything that you're saying, dude, what you're doing with this, what you're doing with the book, everything that you're doing is leadership, and you don't realize that it's leadership.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I do realize it in some sort of way. I'm coming into terms with it, especially now being a father of 5 and having to like actually be the leader of a household. Like, I do kind of get it, but I mean, there is like, well, there's no fear in being the guy because you can't really fuck up cleaning a bathroom, right?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So there's no fear of like, somebody's going to be let down because like Eric didn't clean the bathroom good enough. Like, nobody really gives a fuck. And so I think there's, and going back to your book, my childhood trauma was like, I was born in the middle of nowhere in the swamps of Florida, and there wasn't anybody to be friends with. So I didn't have any friends. So when I got around kids, it was very important. I felt like it was very important. And I think my mom was a great human being. I don't think I'm not knocking her for any of this, but I think it was important to her and my dad that I made friends. And so if I didn't make a friend, I thought, oh, I'm letting my mom and dad down. Like, they give me an opportunity to be in front of people, and then I fuck it up.
So take what you just said. You had a fear of people not liking you because you felt that you needed to make that friendship, and making those friendships for you required them liking you. Everything that you just said about leadership, every single thing, if you go back and listen to the audio, ultimately was you being worried about what other people thought of your decisions.
You're 100% correct. Yeah.
And the reality is, fuck them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
And that's why I liked your book. So, that's why I
doesn't
enjoyed
matter.
it.
It doesn't matter. Like, we need to stop worrying about like it and go back to what you said to me at the very beginning. Oh, you've done this and that. Like, is this, your biggest success or whatever you want to say? Like, it's a two-sided coin. So it's like, I'm at the point now where I'm still trying to work on how I feel about myself and what I've done. So there's this positive thing where I don't really, it doesn't really matter what other people say to me positively. But it also shouldn't matter. If that's true, then it also shouldn't matter what anyone says to me negatively. All that ever truly matters is what we say and feel about ourselves. And at the end of the day, dude, like, you are a capable leader. You just don't realize it because you're worried about how leading would affect others' perceptions of you. And once we get over how others feel about us and we're solid with how we feel about ourselves, then nothing else fucking matters.
Yeah. And when you talk about like self-doubt, like there is this self-doubt, like I don't know, you know what I mean? Like I don't know more than anybody else. And, and that stems from like school because of like the ADHD thing. Like I never was awarded good grades. And this was not the topic we were going to go to today, but I don't know. I feel like you're opening up a book right now. Since you opening up your book. But when I was a kid, the Ritalin was the big deal. It was the big thing. And so, I wasn't making, I guess, good enough grades, but I never had a problem. Like I wasn't a problem child. I wasn't a bad kid. I wasn't like mischievous or anything like that. But all of a sudden I'm being called into the guidance counselor's office with my parents and they're talking about this new drug and it can alter your brain and it can make me focus and pay attention. And, in a 7th grade Eric, 13 years old, all I heard was alter my brain. And I was like, no, I'm not doing it. Like, I don't know what that is. I'm not going to do it. My dad, very rough and blue collar dad was like, excuse me, you'll do whatever we tell you to do. And that'll be that. And it became a battle of the wills with me and my dad and these guidance counselors. And it ended up inevitably coming down to a bet. And they were like, Eric, listen, not this semester because it's almost over, but next semester, if you can make all B's and C's and you make no D's or F's, you do not have to take any of this medication. But if you make one D or F,
we're putting you on meth.
Yeah, we're going to put you on meth for the next 9 weeks to see how it works out. And my dad was like, oh, well, if you could make all B's, then I'll buy him that dirt bike he's been wanting. And like, that was huge because I've been working really hard to save up money for this. And my dad wasn't the type to buy you anything. And so I was like, well, game on. So I taped this picture of this dirt bike to my desk and that's it. I made all A's and 1 B and I got the dirt bike. But I vowed, this is like how stubborn I was, that when I got all A's and 1 B's, I vowed I will never, ever, ever make another A or B again for the rest of my life. And my wife, going through my mom gave me for my 40th birthday, I don't know, whatever birthday, my mom gave me a treasure chest of all my shit from when I was a kid. And so we were going through it with my kids and there was a report card with straight D's on it. And my wife was like, is this a joke? This is all D's. And I said, no, I literally made all D's on one report card to prove a point. She's like, well, how did you get a D in physical education? I was like, I would wear 2 different colored socks to get -5 points every day. So that I could get a D, which is like the one course I should excel at because I liked it. Yeah. But I wanted to prove a point to everyone that I'm in control. You're not. And, but I've writing, I was told in English that, I was a terrible writer, and in art class, I was told I was a terrible artist, and I was, and in music, I was, so up until maybe like 5 years ago, I didn't write anything or try to imagine anything because I felt like I was just not good at those things. So that's not my cup of tea. But you know what? Deep down, those are the things I enjoy the most. I love writing. I love thinking about things to write. It's like my favorite. I do it almost every single night. Like I'll think of some magical movie and I'll write literally a whole screenplay out in my brain and then just trash it because I enjoy it, so.
I mean, dude, same story. I mean, I was told, when I was in the 2nd grade that I was stupid because I couldn't write pretty cursive writing. I'm not joking. Like, and granted, it was absolutely horrible, fucking like Sanskrit, right? It was, I just couldn't write pretty at all. And but the teacher was such a handwriting Nazi at the time, and I don't say that word loosely, that she would literally call me stupid in front of class. And it took me years, only within the last 5 years did I look back, doing certain self-work and go, dude, that's where I came up with this, negative belief about not being smart enough. That's where it started. That dumb bitch, right? Like, I'm like, what? And it's crazy, man, because again, here's what I think, and this is what's in the book. The innate you, the born you, was a warrior. And the reason I'm saying that, what does warrior mean to me? Is warrior, I don't think warrior is a job. I don't think warrior is a whether you have a uniform or not. I think what defines a warrior is a mindset that simply says, if pushed, you push back. And if that is your mold, if that's who you are intrinsically, then in my opinion, you're a warrior. On that note, for me, I'm betting for you, and I bet for the vast majority of people that are listening to this interview right now or podcast, I bet all of us have had that for as long as we can remember. And I'm betting if you really sat there and thought about it like I have, you couldn't separate yourself from that mentality. You couldn't explain where it came from. It was just always there. And I know that's the way it was for me. And I think that's the inherent warrior, mold or what's the word I'm looking for? That's just who we are, right? And the problem, though, is our current system, dude, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, warriors were revered in every society. Every society. I don't give a fuck if you're a tribe in the Amazon right now, which is possible. Right. Warriors are revered in that society. They protect the tribe. They freaking all the good things that they do. The problem is we've lived in a society for decades now that feels like it doesn't need warriors. And so the warrior, the innate warrior mentality, the innate warrior mold, which, by the way, is something that fucking nature, God, whatever you want to call it, it's an obvious thing that we're born warriors, just like people are born artists, born singers, born this, born that. We are born warriors. And we are currently, the problem we're experiencing is we're born into a society that no longer thinks we're needed and therefore no longer values us. And on top of all that, what you're talking about to me is not only those things, but it is actively suppressing the inner warrior. And you being told to sit still and you being told you need Ritalin, that's again trying to take the power away from the wolf and make the wolf like the other sheep.
Yeah, no, that is so spot on. And it makes me feel good that has, somebody like you that is an advocate for that, because I've been advocating it, for forever. I do believe that you're trying to create non-player characters. You have these outliers, and you're just trying to make them, fall in line with everybody else. Look, this is a breakdown show. I have to do a quick breakdown. I know you have a hard time to get out of here. I'm going to play a quick breakdown from Michigan for you. You're going to get to watch it. We'll respond to it quickly. This is out of Barron County, Michigan. Again, guys, I apologize. This was a great story. It went a great episode. It went way different than I expected it to go, but I'm so glad it went there, because a lot of you guys in the comments are literally talking about your experiences. And with ADHD, I'm bringing up Davey here and M here, Bosco here. You guys all relate to this. Go out and check out the book Forged in Chaos. Go buy it right now. And it will touch you. It like in a non-Lazaro Lopez way, it will touch you. But let's play this. This has just happened a few days ago. And one of the officers from Barron County, Michigan, reached out to me in the DMs, and shared this case with me. And so let's just go over it really quickly. Here we go.
What's up? All right, I'm just curious.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Lee, 1413. Can you run an Indiana commemorative for me? You got ID on you?
No.
No?
Yeah, maybe in the car.
Yeah, do you mind getting it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Tom Charles Sam, 451 Indiana commemorative. Really?
I love that. Really?
Someone running for me on foot on South 3rd Street, heading south. Stop! You're gonna get tased! You're gonna get tased! Get on the ground now! Monsieur, hands now!
No!
Get the on the ground! Varian, shots fired. South 3rd Street. One suspect down.
I want to play this out because I want to see this guy's reaction. This is something really quick I want to break down. I'm just going to let this play out, and we're going to talk about it really quick.
I don't know. Oh my God. Varian, run medic. Call supervisor. Oh my God. Are you good? Am I? Here, I'm gonna be here. Crossing P6, Mata near on South 3rd Street in the little park. Oh my God.
He's not going anywhere near that body either. All right, and for time's sake, we'll just stop it right there. A couple of things I want to point out, and we would have went over this in much detail before the shooting occurs right here. I think it's important to notice that the suspect is belated, and that's a huge indicator that he has a firearm. Nobody stands like that. This cop realizes that. Notice he switches the taser, which is in his right hand, his gun hand. When this guy belades himself, he switches immediately the taser to his left hand. So we see the blade, and we see immediate switch in the taser to his non-dominant hand. And after the shot's fired, he drops the taser and pulls his gun out extremely quickly. Phenomenal job. Tyler, do you want to add anything to this?
No, I mean, yeah, same thing. I mean, when I saw his, I mean, the video quality isn't super great, but like, as soon as I saw in the video that he had his hand around his right hand around his right hip, as soon as I saw that, I was like, he's going to pull a gun. You know, that, as you said, that position, you could just tell he was ready to draw something. So, I mean, the only thing that I'm trying to figure out is it looks like he put his right hand on his gun, but didn't draw it. It was like it was like he put it maybe on the holster, but it wasn't until the guy drew the gun that he then like pulled it from the holster. And again, I could be wrong. We can't see it, but I was wondering why he didn't come out with the gun. You know what I mean? Like
versus the taser. Which guy?
Well, no,
the bad guy.
I'm saying no, the cop. What I'm saying is, so the cop puts his hand on he basically has a taser in his right hand. He sees that he's, blading off the side. He then switches the taser to his left hand. And then what we assume puts his right hand on his gun. Yes. But he doesn't draw it, at least from what we tell, until he's shot. He's shot. And I'm just wondering, and again, this is easy for us
I would say it's a great question. I would say that when you're in a foot chase, I think this cop did a phenomenal job in a foot chase. He wasn't 100%. Screaming on the radio. He wasn't like, he wasn't like amped up. He didn't escalate this in any certain way. He stayed very calm, very collected. He was in it for the long haul. He wasn't sprinting. He did everything correctly. Really well-trained police officer, in my opinion. And when they rounded the corner, when you're in a foot chase, there's a lot of things you have to think about. And it's not, this is where policing is different than the military. In the military, you have like 7 dudes behind you that all have a job to do, right? So like the radio guy, his job is when you're in the firefight, the radio guy is on the radio calling in the grid. That's his job, right? Your job is putting rounds down range or whatever. Well, when you're a cop, he's by himself. So he doesn't have everybody to do any of the other jobs. So also you have to think very quickly, what do I have here? So this was a suspicious person who was also from Indiana in Michigan with Indiana plates. We've got some like what appears to be like a meth head girl that's with him. And then you have him, and then this guy just takes off running. Why is he running? What's he running from? Was the girl going to take the car that's now stolen that you haven't ran the plate for because he was calling in the plate? Is she going to drive off with the stolen car? And now you got this guy who wasn't in the car, who doesn't have keys, and now you have no charge. And girl who you don't know took the stolen car and she's gone. Now everybody gets off scot-free. Because I mean, all this guy's going to get is resisting what? Resisting a voluntary or a suspicious person. Like he's going to get bonded out in 30 minutes, probably with no bond because there was no physical violence. So the cop is trying to run all this in his head. He's thinking, fuck, I shouldn't be chasing this guy because she's going to take the car and I'm going to have nothing. At least that's what I would be thinking in my brain. And now we're stuck in a park and you're like, oh shit. Oh, wait, he's parading. Oh fuck. Let me get this over. Oh shit. Is he going to shoot me? Like, is this happening? And then, bam, it's just too late. And unfortunately, that sucks, but I'm glad that the cop didn't take the first round. I think what's really interesting that we see out of this case is he was so calm and collected and not out of breath before the shooting.
Oh yeah.
Even though he's running, he's not out of breath. He's fine. And then as soon as the shooting happens, all this adrenaline is just coursing through his veins and he doesn't know what to do. And he won't even go look at the body. He won't even go near it. And I thought that was a big indicator because, we deal with shot victims constantly. And as a police officer, you might roll up on a motorcycle accident where an arm might be separated. And it's nothing for the cop to just walk over, grab the arm, put it in his car, move it off the side of the road. Like it's nothing. Like it's not even something we even think about as first responders, EMTs, firefighters, cops. But this guy, the cop won't even go near it. He won't even look at it. And I just think psychologically that is, it just shows you the amount of stress that even a warrior, and this cop's a warrior, no doubt. He was in the fight the whole time. But even a warrior, it's hard for you not to go condition black, and you can feel the empathy. You can feel the sadness in his radio voice. Did you catch any of that?
100%. I agree. I think he did a great job. My question is only like I'm curious what his thought process was. I mean, it's micro, but you know how it is. Even in things that quick, you have like a chain of logic, like more than likely when he put his hand on the gun, he knew the threat was higher than he'd originally thought, but he was also probably thinking, well, I don't want to draw on this dude and necessarily escalate it, based on what the original call was. If it was anything higher, I'm assuming, again, I wasn't LE, but I'm assuming if it was like a higher call, then he maybe would have, drew on him. But the relatively unimportant call that was, or it's not like it was a violent, situation or anything.
Right.
He was probably like, well, I'm not necessarily going to draw, but I'm ready, to pull. And then boom, as soon as the guy pulled and shot on him, he shot back. And like you said, it was evident. I mean, he was breathing so hard. I honestly thought he was shot for 20 seconds, I actually even thought that it maybe went, because you can get hit above the vest and it be a lung shot technically. So
yes,
he was shot in the lung. So I'm glad he wasn't. But yeah, man, it's a crazy. It's hard to explain when everything's normal how much that happens when your nervous system activates like that and goes from zero. And again, let's be honest, was him chasing the guy super activated? No, that was still a zero. It's a foot chase, whatever, not a big deal, right? And then, he gets in this confrontation, and as soon as that life threat was presented, it dumped everything in the system so fast that your body becomes absolutely exhausted by it. And I think that cortisol dump and all the stuff from that level of adrenaline dump, it's, in my experience, it's very hard. And better than me, it's very hard to train people for that level of dump, because the only real true way to replicate it is to get a true life and death situation, which obviously is dangerous in training. And therefore, most places don't do it. And my argument is, the higher you get up on, like in the military chain, you start doing training that is pretty close to a life risk. And that's what allows you, in my opinion, to get that higher level of training, because you're closer to the actual scenario than you're training close to the actual scenario in training. That way you're more prepared for it in real life.
And that's why I really like warrior mindset training, because that's reality-based training in police departments. Like when the defund the police movement happened, first thing they got rid of was that reality-based training. Whereas you were getting shot with sim rounds, which granted it's sim rounds, but it's still stressful, though they hurt. There's a sense of failure. You're having to shoot, move, and communicate at the same time. So there's a way to cause adrenaline there. There's a way to shut the lights off and create fog to get the adrenaline going, especially a guy in a red man suit, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's ready to punch you in the face. That can kind of give you this, like, calling you the N-word, like out of the blue. Like you come in and you have a white guy call you an N-word. Funny enough, I talk about that in my book, but like the first time in training, somebody called me an N-word. I was like, wait, what the fuck? And like, I was so thrown off that now I'm behind the curve. But you have to be taught these things. And that's where the warrior mindset training, I really like how this guy was able to switch to the left hand, this taser. And as he's falling almost, reaches out, pulls his gun out, engages, sits back up, and he's not running backwards. He's not reaching for the radio to scream for help. He sits forward and takes that final shot, which shows that he has trained. He has trained in pulling his holster out in his car seat. He has trained pulling his holster out on the couch with an unloaded weapon. Make sure that you clear it and have your wife clear it as well, so you're not putting rounds through your TV screen. But like, that's why we do these things. It's not theatrics. It's not being a cool guy. It's not something that we should make fun of. These are things that are going to prepare you so that when you get in a situation like this and the fine motor skills go down, as we know how that works, like, simple things like even unclasping your handcuffs can be very difficult in a situation like that. But you have to know that your body's just going to automatically do that through repetition. And so I encourage you, if you are still a law enforcement officer, that you are practicing your dry fires and you're doing it in a realistic environment, that you are sitting on your couch and trying to get to your gun and get into those awkward positions when you're not really prepared, so that when something like this happens. Tyler, we appreciate you coming on the show today. That was fun. And your book it's coming out Tuesday. I'm so excited for you. You have the TV series SEAL Team, of course. Your new podcast, Two Fake SEALs, which has moved to a different YouTube channel.
Yeah. Well, it might be moving back. We'll figure that out. But we'll have you on that soon when you're free. And
anytime. I would love it.
Thanks so much for having me on, and thanks for everyone listening. I'm very happy to be here and have this conversation, and it's always a good time, man.
All right. Hey, thank you, Tyler. I know you've got another show to be on, so you go ahead and just jump on out of here. You can hit the leave studio button. Thank you so much. Hey, guys, today's show is brought to you by factormeals.com/Wolfpack50 for 50% off. Summer is over. The time to lose weight is done. But guess what? School season's upon us. The fall season's upon us. Right now, you can start your journey, your meal planning journey now, and you can be ready to guiltlessly gorge yourself by Thanksgiving. You guys saw how many hot dogs I guzzled, how many glizzies I guzzled over the holiday weekend, and I really appreciate everybody who was talking to me through 4th of July. I had a lot of fun with that, guys. But right now, factormeals.com/Wolfpack50 for 50% off. Meal planning to the next level. These are chef-prepared, fresh and never frozen meals delivered right to your door. You can do keto-friendly, calorie-conscious. You can do protein-heavy if you want to get Papa Swolio or whatever. But stop wasting time going to the grocery store, doing all this planning in your brain, having to cook separate dishes, do all the, finding your Pyrex, Pytex, Rubbermaid dishes and the right lids and all these things, when you can get color-coded meals that microwave in 2 minutes or less right to your door. Nordic ice to keep them cold. Put them in the refrigerator. Again, not frozen. They look nice. They present well. They smell good. And it really takes that temptation of going out to eat away. So while all your friends are going to all the different little fast food restaurants and getting all these disgusting, fatty foods and high in sodium and all that other stuff, and you're like, man, that smells really good. Your Factor Meals is made in such a way and it presents itself so well that you're actually excited to eat your Factor meal. Like, you won't even realize that somebody is smashing a Crunchwrap Supreme in front of you, because you've got this delicious bacon ranch chicken with all the sides, right in front of you, and it just smells amazing and they taste incredible. Which, by the way, my wife, we like it so much that we recreated that recipe over the course of like 2 months. We made it like once a week, trying to dial it in to taste just like that, so that we could show our friends in mass, like what this bacon ranch chicken that Factor Meals delivers. Of course, they have a lot of other meals too. So head over to factormeals.com/wolfpack50 for 50% off. That's factormeals.com/wolfpack50 for 50% off. Factormeals.com/wolfpack50 for 50% off. My book comes out in 7 weeks. Pig Latin, a seriously funny true story. Today, I'm headed back to Chapel Hill to do more content with a mandatory fun day and Nick Palmachano. So it's a lot of fun. And I hope to do some content with Lázaro Lopez when I get up to Texas, because he and I have the best time together. And, I've stayed at Lázaro Lopez's house, I think twice now. He snores really loud, by the way. He snores so loud. He's the loudest snoring person ever. And he likes to sleep on the floor, which is also weird. I'm just kidding. That's what he accuses me of doing. But of course, we all know that that's not true. No guy like me could snore. And of course, I'm not a peasant, so I never sleep on a floor, especially when I'm used to sleeping on ghost beds. But when I get back to Texas, one of the things I do look forward to doing is staying with Lázaro Lopez and going out for our late night In-N-Out burger runs together. And so I'm sure we'll document all that. We will be doing the book tour here coming up soon. So we'll be coming to a city near you guys. Well, what I need from you, if you're still here, is I need you to want to support those who support us. But also we have a merch site, FTS Underground. And the link will be in the show notes here and on the YouTubes, and you can get yourself all that a shirt or coffee mug. All that money goes to Jonathan Bates, our podcast producer, one of our producers, and then he's also an illustrator, a first responder artist as well. And so we want to give back to him as much as possible. So please go and get you a Guns Up, Giddy Up t-shirt. We love those. I love mine, at least, and I know a lot of other people do. So go and support us by doing that. But even easier is hitting the like and subscribe button and share this on your social media. If you have 1 follower or 10 followers or 10,000 followers, if you share this show, it helps us out in the algorithm. And a 5-star rating and review really goes a long way. That 5-star rating and review so that we can continue to do these. I am doing stand-up comedy on July 26th in Smithfield, North Carolina at the Raleigh Brewing Company, their secondary location, which is in Smithfield. I will be doing a set. It is a free show. And it's on Saturday, July 26th in Smithfield, North Carolina. I hope to be doing some morale tour stuff in the fall for other police departments. If you're interested in hosting me, and by hosting, I show up. You don't pay for anything. But I show up with my own equipment and my speakers, and I'll do like a morale show for your law enforcement officers, either at a bar, or I can do a live podcast from your precinct. I've done them in Albemarle. Obviously, I tone back my language and my content just a little bit when we do it on location. But if you have a bar, a local first responder bar, Irish pub, or whatever that you would like me to come out and do a little stand-up comedy show and a live podcast in front of all your first responder buddies, and that will build morale, please DM me and let me know, and I'll try to put that on my list of places to go and also do some book signings for you guys as well. I appreciate everybody in the Wolfpack. Tyler Esk, Jenny, I don't know. Anytime I see the name Jenny, I have to say it like that. Tyler S, Loren, M. Thank you so much for being a contributor today. Lázaro Lopez, Mer 530, Bosco, as always, and Abby. Thank you so much for always being here, and we love you to death. And I think I sent you the newest copy of the book, so you will have that. I'm going on your podcast, Abby, with Jason, with Santana and the Santana True Crime, which obviously is we're a growing network now. So we have Allie in the Archives, we have Santana True Crime, everybody. And so we also have Fox News. Here we go. Here's On Being a Police Officer. Here we go. Dexter Pitts, by the way, not on the network, but just a really great friend of ours. So I'm doing some public speaking right now in Colorado. We appreciate him. But listen, the network is growing, and I think with what's coming down the pipeline and everything that we have, it's only going to get bigger, and we're really kind of getting our shot. And I don't want to lose Failure to Stop, even though I seem very busy at this moment. I will be able to afford the luxuries of having other guests or having other law enforcement fill in the spot to Failure to Stop, and to grow the network and to give you guys as much content to keep first responders busy in their patrol cars while they're working, because that's always been the goal, is to give you guys something to listen to and something to talk about other than dead babies and domestic violence. I appreciate all of you guys in the Wolfpack today. You guys did awesome. We love you guys. We will see you for another FAWKES news as the news begins to break. We had a good episode this week, and we'll have more coming out as Josh gets back from his Atlanta trip. So with that, I'm headed to Chapel Hill. Follow me on Eric Tansey Official and Failure to Stop. I'll be posting my day with Mandatory Fun Day and Nick Palmisano, and we hope to talk to you guys soon. So until then, cheers. Guns up, giddy up. I mean, wait, I have to end the stream myself. Okay, let's try it again. Guns up, giddy up.